Hello everybody, welcome to Indigo Tarot Odyssey. Today's reading is going to be about, is your twin flame arriving? Do you feel their energy? What will come about before and during their arrival? What are some of the signs you'll see, what you'll experience? Just anything that comes up we'll get into. Perhaps it's their profession, their age, their sign, all of this. There's a huge shift. 2020 is all about alchemizing into our present state of awareness that all is available to us when we call it in, when we're aware, when we believe in it, when we're focused, and when we're reading the synchronicities. And so many of you guys are commenting, like ridiculous things are really happening in terms of you seeing numbers 11 11, 3 3 3s, 5 5 5s, your ears are ringing. And some people, they were like, should I go to the ear doctor? I get this all the time. If I get a little worked up and I overwhelm myself, that is the first thing that happens, is I'll get a ringing in my ear, and right away I'll just start taking deep soothing breaths and calm down, because that's an indicator, I'm being watched over, I'm protected, and I'm just going a little off the deep end. That can just be, it's almost like my mind starts racing, making plans. And as a creative person, I want to act on it, but I have to structure my time, and have all my materials and all the things I need to do. But also that's saying, get out of your head space and ground a little bit, because when we're constantly doing, third eye work, and we're communicating and we're divining things and channeling and doing all of this, we're completely in our third, in our third eye, and that chakra gets overwhelmed, and we're not as grounded. We need to really earth out and ground out, be out in nature, all of that. If I just start to pet my animals or hum and listen to jazz or something, it's very grounding and calming. And on the twin flame journey, a lot of that happens. It's almost like outer body experiences, our ears ringing, constant synchronicity. Somebody can be talking to us literally for a couple minutes, and we'll snap out of our rhetoric and be like, oh, what's going on? And not even realize somebody's talking to us. It's all of that. It's that deep soul journeying connection, where we tend to get a little flighty. So we remember we have to ground out. It's very special, focus all the time. If you find yourself sort of taking off and you're in an instance where your focus is necessary, like when you're driving, when you're, handling anything near heat or whatever, any sharp objects, it's like always be focused on that, because, it's very easy to space out, right? And you want to take care with your physical self. So in accordance with this, we are going to see what is coming for whom, you guys. So we have 3 cards to choose from. Number 1 is illumination, expression, positivity, joy, and inspiration. This is because when we're starting to connect with that energy, we feel euphoric. We feel extremely good. That's one of the indicators they're on our way. We've connected. The synchronicities have begun. We feel ebullient, elevated, all of those things. Number 2 is adventure, innocence, play, and discovery. Again, we kind of get this creative force behind us. We're at our highest vibration. We feel trusting, loving, all innocence returns. It's a lovely, lovely phase. And number 3 is transformation, metamorphosis, synchronicities, the unexpected. This is a continual loop in this transformative state, because we're elevated to our best self, our highest vibration. So we come out of that cocoon stage where we're like full wings on, we're ready to fly experience. We understand the true value and innate value of our soul, all the gifts and the value that are incorporated in that. So we feel great. We feel like we want to fly. We read the synchronicities like our own private blueprints. We see the numbers, we see the symbolism, we see the animals, all of that. It all starts to align with the unexpected. And also the corresponding numbers are 23, 1, and 41. So I'll just give you a moment to look at that and have a deep breath. I'm going to have a sip of soda. All right, deep breath, and we will get composed and see what's going. It's really, there's nothing that's more appealing, captivated, yet challenging than this fundamental soul connection with these individuals. It's so powerful. It is serendipity. It is serene, yet we can be at the most tranquil essence of ourselves during this, but then have the most insane kind of whirlwind of emotions that come through. So it is very important to stay very grounded, be gracious and loving towards ourselves, be congenial to others, be composed, have a, because it can be such a blissful state that when we have to cope with regular everyday reality and stuff, it can seem very heavy 3D. The other things can be very invasive when we're trying to like kind of be in our thought bubble. But again, we're absorbing all this information. We're not indifferent to other people's needs and wants in our life at this time. And in fact, we're more sensitive and loving towards it as well. So we're going to begin with number 1. Let's see what possibilities that they can have in terms of their vocations. So we have builder. Their innate ability to build and create brings them a deep sense of accomplishment. Again, I feel a lot of it's funny, I see structures whenever this card comes up of all different proportions. So I see people that are, architects, people that are on construction sites, that own their own construction companies, people that really understand foundation structures, all of that. And I'm going to pull up a secondary because oftentimes people move into a new vocation and or they have other gifts as well. And because this is for a large collective, I like to have different avenues to explore too. So we also have artists. Engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to their career and every other area of their life. I feel like this is a huge component. And also people that understand structure, foundation, color, depth, all of that stuff usually have some kind of artistic talent about them. And also I feel a lot of this too, I feel that this, this has to do with a lot of colors and paints. I'm seeing that in their life, canvases, all of that. So they do have some artistic gifts, and that's important. I feel like people that have these type of beautiful creative outlets, their passion, they're inspired. There's nothing more beautiful than somebody that's inspired by something, that has a passion for something, that loves it. You see the sparkle in their eyes. They have drive for life. It's just one of those things. Regardless, if you love hiking and love being in nature, it's one of those things where it's foremost in your mind. You get excited. It's a momentous occasion when you get to partake in things you love. It changes your vibration. It changes who you are. It's like one of those things where you have a scenic, satisfying life when you're doing something you love. Even if you can't do that all day as your job, if you have a beautiful outlet that you love to do, it brings you joy. It gives you some fulfilling energy. It adds delight, color, and a full spectrum in your life, as opposed to, just doing your job, coming home and staring at the TV or reading a book and then going to bed and not investigating and learning new things and having fun. This person definitely has a good scope. And I'm going to be he, she, because I know that every once in a while, if I feel the majority when I do the read are male components, that's why I tend to say he, but it's both. So let's see what else is going on. This is part of their personality. They're very romantic. They are seeking the sacred. This is somebody who is, of course, I want to get a clarifier on this too. So we have the King card too. So an authoritative person, big, sexual energy to them, things pertaining to the law and justice as well. They know human rights. They know, this person could possibly have a law degree as well. They study and love the law as well. It's just one of those things that's of import to them, but a super romantic soul. And whenever I see seeking the sacred, I'm always thinking of somebody who's always striving to figure out more and more levels of spirituality, being more and more open in their perspective of it. Because when you think about it, sometimes where I really see a lot of potential and endless spirituality and connectivity is stuff is in space. When I think of like planetary alignment and things all rotating around, a sun and a moon, it becomes absolutely like magical to me. That means that things are way more expansive. And when you see things like nebulas and black holes and galaxies and all of that and Milky Ways, it's so expansive. There's so much that's not known. Same thing with spirituality. And what, we've only governed a few of those issues that we talk about, in light working, which is like synchronicity, synergies, patterns that can be brought through in the 3D that we can kind of regulate, label, blueprint out and get ideas from. But still, it's so many layers deep. It's so magical. And the fact that we have this specific other is supernova cool, isn't it? Just somebody, a special somebody meant for us. Even when I find a kindred spirit, I'm off the charts happy, because that's somebody who gets you. It's somebody who's on the same vibration. It's somebody who, is like just tuned into the same channel you are, the compatibility factor, all of this, where this is on even a much more epic scale. And I feel like this really agreeable energy is coming in. And earlier I flipped through the coinage, and this can be possibly their full on measure with the Libran energy, or have a lot of Libra in their chart. And I love this due to the fact that I feel like every Libra that I've ever met is so like high caliber, integrity wise, so smart, so tuned in, has a lot of just emotional balance, or very emotionally intelligent, but really tuned in and aware of the emotional temperature of the room and others. Very caring, very loving, great energy in that respect too. But again, this person is quite elevated. To have the Grail and the King card is saying, they really are an elevated person. They have a great understanding of people. They're constantly becoming and growing, and they're quite, dazzling upon first meeting them. It's just one of those people where they're such a self-contained unit and a generous soul. Probably a very sharp dresser. Can pacify a room if people are going, if people are going crazy and fighting or whatever. They can segue from any conversation with anybody at any time. Very striking looking, with a beautiful, like tranquil, like Librans are a very tranquil personality. So again, I feel like all this is coming in a very beautiful sort of flow. And I'm going to try to get some time. It's funny, some people have such a lack of mentality, and I start laughing so hard at some of it because somebody was like, "Oh, I'm sitting this one out because there's no way I'm waiting 10 months or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, you can't wait for your perfect life companion for 10 months when some people have literally waited decades and decades." So let's see what's our time frame we're looking at. So 5 of discs, so 5 of pentacles, and I feel like, yeah, again with this disc, that they have super grounded energy, very earthy. And over all of this, the whole thing that I'm resonating is hearing compatibility with your family, with your friends. Really beautiful, like just one of those old souls that just go with the flow, and they don't judge anybody, they don't label anybody, they're not critical, and other people feel that, respect that, and love that. So they are just completely enfolded into your kind of tribe. They have no pettiness about them. They have very high rationale. They understand a lot. Very enigmatic, and they're like an enthralling conversationalist. Like they know how to talk about anything, anywhere, with anybody. They have severe joy for other people's predicaments. Like if you're talking about painting, and they're like so enthusiastic, but genuine about it. No people pleasing, just genuinely and authentically absorbed in the conversations that are having. It's so endearing, and people are so just struck by this, and and part of this is just this beautiful enlightened phase that they're in. They're very balanced, they're very magical. There's a lot of alchemy within them and other people because they really care. They're an authentic person. It's kind of like if Jim Carrey were to come over, like he would be super enthusiastic about anything. If you were discussing art, philosophy, spirituality, he would be right there in it. But very very knowledgeable about things, very absorbed in the conversation. Awesome energy. So I'm loving that for you, group 1. If you're new to my channel, welcome and congratulations. It's such good energy. I'm excited. Again, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. If you need a private read for any other information on this, all my stuff is down there. If you want to go to my Etsy store or check out my Patreon and you want to support the channel, thank you, patrons, and thank you guys for checking out my video today. So appreciate it. And thank you guys for your awesome comments. I just tucked back in last night and was able to respond and see, there was hundreds at that point, but it was like, that's one of my favorite things to do, to see where you guys are at, how life's treating you. And I really appreciate your comments. So comment if you're excited, comment if if some of this rings true and you're pumped and you're seeing the synchronicities, because it's a very exciting life phase. I mean, what's more exciting than, a twin flame arriving? So beautiful. So now we're on to number 2, adventure. So regardless of what's going on, the group 2 here, I feel like you're returning to this great age of innocence where things please you, where you're not, callous about things or unfeeling, where you are truly excited. You're truly excited for yourself, other people. You want to play and discover new things. You want to have a more joyful existence where you're not taking yourself, other people, or anything seriously. No more angst and anguish. You don't care to be around arrogant people. You know, there's so much farcical bullcrap that happens within social groups. I feel like a lot of you guys are students and you're just like, I don't care who's wearing what, who's doing what, or any of this petty nonsense, right? You're let go of all your regretful and remorseful heaviness that, you know, stops us from having this playful existence. Now it's time, you know, to be sociable, be around soothing people, fun people with vivacious attitudes. Let's go learn something, see stuff. You know, you're going to see too very clearly who's unworthy of your company very quickly too. I just see this, you're turning a discerning eye on people that just waste your time. You know, they condemn everybody, they're crass, they're critical, they're dark, whatever they have. It's like they're dim, they're always in distress, they're just dull, you're just tired of it, and you're going to notice this because you're really calling in this new beautiful energy. And let's see what's going on in terms of twin flame energy. So they could very well be a spiritual teacher healing with their classes, sessions, and seminar. They could be YouTubers. They could be tarot readers. They could be Reiki healers. I feel like they're kind of like of the Victor Otto kind of school where they understand it. They just get energy. They just get the ebb and flow of communication and spiritual messages, and they speak on that, and they're, you know, very gripping. Yeah, because look at the next card that comes up, speaker. Their life purpose involves their skills of oration. They're just, you know, it's one of those things where they receive messages they can channel very quickly. They're very well read on spiritual issues, and they just know they've cut through all the kind of the rhetoric and the garbage, and they've, you know, they've taken out the religion. They just understand it's like that pure karmic thing. What comes around goes around, and they get all that, you know, that it's not about reprimanding. It's not about reproaching any of that. And they don't want sycophants. That's not why they do it. They don't want people to follow them. It's just this beautiful, placid, peaceful energy where they understand why things happen, and they have such an agreeable personality, and it's so soothing. And you can see that's why a lot of times I'll come on camera, and I like to see the readers that I like and other speakers come on. I do believe that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and I can tell right away when I'm talking to somebody, if they're a caring person, if they're devoid of kind of like emotion, all of those things, like right away I get that. So that's sort of too why I have I get a little drained in huge social groups, because I'm reading all of this energy plus their eyes plus all these feelings, and right away I feel like this person has amazingly expressive, beautiful big eyes that are warm, and it just is like, oh, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like some of the people that have the most beautiful eyes, I love green and blue eyes, but I feel like one of the most expressive eye sets I've ever seen is like Robert Downey Jr. When you look at him, you can tell right before he's going to cry. You can tell that waver, you know, there's a depth and a richness to that, and this person definitely has that. And they challenge people. They challenge people with this captivating demeanor of, really look at your lives, take an honest look. What's the big deal? Where you're at is not where you're always going to be. So if you feel unmotivated, or you don't feel perfect or at your ace game right now, every day is different. We are like the moon. We have phases. Sometimes we're super strong and productive. Other days we just need to rest, relax, kick back, and have fun and channel out. I mean, people work hard. They should be able to read books, play video games, watch TV, do whatever they want to decompress. People push themselves way too hard, and when they do that, they lose that kind of fun and joyous, lighthearted spirit. And you know, this person has a very becoming, alluring essence about them. And again, I definitely see spiritual teachings within them. And if they don't do that for a living, it's something that they do to help other people, maybe like a big brother, big sister type of thing. And here's part of what is going to come with this connection too for you. A kind of utopia, peace, serenity, and paradise. It is your paradise on earth, your connection with them, because it is so divinely guided, and it is so it supersedes every other thing that we think is important, because people forget every time, you know, it's times we get caught in this loop of materialism, or we get caught in this loop of competitiveness, or just unfocused. I call it unfocused living. That's when we don't have gratitude so much, or we're not living in the present and really noticing what's going on around us. But that's where you're going to notice your shift takes place. I feel like you're going to be listening to a few readers or speakers or light workers, and all of a sudden something's going to shift within you, and you're going to have an aha moment that goes, yeah, you know what? Why am I carrying around this heavy energy? Why in the world would I compete with anybody else? Why would I compare myself? Why would I feel like a failure when at any given time life just takes off in a new direction? It's like everybody is not meant to win everything every day and have accolades and people, fawning over them and loving and adoring them and all of that. It comes in ebbs and flows. Everybody does get their time in the spotlight. They do get their love. They do get, a beautiful comeuppance and accolades and people paying attention to them. And, sometimes we just need that motivating presence, and then that momentous, beautiful occasion comes after that little time of introspection where we really look, and then we segue into our best selves. And it can be the smallest thing. It can be overhearing somebody in a supermarket that behaves a way that mirrors maybe something we do, and we don't appreciate that, and then we decide to drop it. Hey, you know what? Sometimes, I'm a little attention seeking, or I'm a little loud, or, this vindictive, whatever it is. It can be a characteristic that's brought to your attention. You just decide to drop it, and then all of a sudden you turn this corner, and it's like, it's a spectacular shift where all of a sudden none of this stuff seems necessary anymore. It's one of those, that beautiful lightness of being where you feel really great and you feel ready for the big picture. So let's see what's coming in terms of time. So we have 8 of Pentacles. Interesting. I always like when the time frame comes with a Pentacle card, because that means you're at a grounded emotional state. You feel connected. You don't feel flighty or disconnected to like yourself, your goals, where you're going, the real 3D, paying bills, being responsible, having your act together, being focused and all of that. But it's one of those things where it's an essential part of our life. You know what I mean? Everything can't always be dramatic and glamorous and out there. We have to have regular things. It can sometimes be tedious and trifling, but it's being grounded, it's being focused and all of that. And I feel like there's going to be a beautiful connection. I was seeing 2 types of energy both came out, and I thought this was funny that it was Sagittarius and Capricorn. These keep coming up. And they're quite different on the spectrum. I mean, these are actually Ian and my sign, funnily enough. Sagittarius is a fire sign. They're artistic, creative, athletic, dreamy, truth-seeking, spiritual, all of that, where Capricorns, they get stuff done in an epic manner. I mean, they just get stuff done. They remember things that I don't even know what I don't even know when I'm around them. You know what I mean? It's like they remember everything they learned in school, which blows my mind because sometimes I can't remember what I learned 5 minutes ago. They realize that people are flawed and they're forgiving. They just, they're grounded, trustworthy, solid, awesome people, really authentic. So these are really great signs. So high possibility again, too, with the Pentacles coming up. And I feel like you're going to start to really connect with them in your dreamscape. It's already probably begun. You're probably already seeing 1111s. You're probably already having ringing in your ear. You're probably already having some visuals of them. I feel like a song might already be chosen for you. Some song just really speaks to you and almost brings you to tears. Again, this is how all these connections begin. So, wow, very beautiful, you guys. I love that energy for you. So if you're new to my channel, welcome and congratulations. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. If you need a private read, if you want to check out my Etsy store, come see me on Instagram at Sparkrist11. I do daily posts and memes. I talk to everybody over there when they have questions. I love to fill people in on what's going on if they have a question about anything. So love and light to you. Beautiful, beautiful energy. So now we're on to number 3, which is also 41 and transformation, metamorphosis, synchronicity, and the unexpected. I feel like a lot of you guys already, you feel like you're noticing things you didn't notice before, and things are taking unexpected turns. And if not, they will very shortly in a very good way. I feel like you kind of came out of this cocoon state where you were a little self-protective and maybe, once bitten, twice shy. But now you're like, you know what? I want to live. I want to experience things. I want to see what's going on. And you already are kind of enveloped in this cool synchronistic patterns that are going around you with your 1111s. This, I feel like, a 333s, 555s, all of that. Again, I feel like you see certain kind of bird activity, moth activity, ladybugs, little winged creatures, things that draw your attention. I feel like rabbits and jackrabbits are also symbolic of this group. I feel like you're no longer going to settle for any monotonous, nauseating kind of like that, shallow, repugnant energy of just heaviness, fear, doubt, other people, negativity. I feel like it really really sticks out to you, and you don't want to be around any of that loathsome melancholy anymore. You're ready. It's insufferable. You're now on to fun, comforting energy where it's gratifying to have conversations with people, big, prominent occasions where you remember things beautifully because you're absolutely plugged into being aware and present in that moment. That's the biggest thing that I'm constantly trying to get across is my most wonderful moments in my life is where I'm absolutely present, where I'm focused on that. You can read a page in a book, and if you're not focused on it, you can read it 10 times and you don't even absorb one word. That happens throughout the day. We go on autopilot. We don't hear what people are really saying. We don't see what people are really doing. We don't see how people are really trying to connect to us unless we are present. So that's the number one thing that's happening right now. So let's see what's going on where you possibly might meet this person. So I feel like a lot of this will take place in your school, at your university, at your school, around school, in a library, a place of learning. Reading, research, and education is probably their vocation. They could be professors, teachers, writers, all about that. Creative expression as well. So this too, I feel like they're expressing themselves in all different types of ways. I feel like writing is a big component. I feel like they're doing thesis. They're doing all kinds of papers. They are submitting things, poetry, lyrics, all of these things, really beautiful, creative expressions out there. Let's see what else could be possible vocations. Let me get this deck right here. So this is a possibility where you may meet them when you have a career change. It could be you just investigating different places, going for interviews, just checking out what's available on the job market. Also, I'm feeling, too, some of these people you could be meeting through, a lot of you guys through social media where you're kind of putting out the tentacles for what's out there, availability in certain jobs and whatever, and then all of a sudden you connect. All of a sudden just the energy matches up on social media and you get it, you get that connection, you start a conversation through that, something to do with the job market and marketing and all of that, and boom, there you go, they're in there. So I feel like part of, this yoga is involved in their life. I feel like stretching, exercising, maybe just an athlete of some sort too. Just somebody who understands the energy flow within the body is connected to everything, right? That type of energy in a really beautiful way. Let's get a time frame as well and see. These I chose for the last group before. And we have Gemini energy. Ooh, Geminis are very fascinating and charming. And then Taurian energy, very earthy, grounded. Tauruses are quite interesting because I love how they kind of have this quiet glamour about them. They love things that are well made. They have really good taste. They're quite a classy man or woman. And then Gemini, very spontaneous, fun, and multifaceted. I just feel like they have a lot of charm to them. I feel like Geminis get a bad rap of people, thinking they're unpredictable, but I think it's in a good way. Every Gemini I've met, I really like. They've been captivating, challenging, and fun. I really like that. Always noteworthy for sure. So let's see what we have for a time frame as well. So we have sevens coming up and wands, passion. I love that. So I do feel like around the 7-month time frame, this is very interesting too, because I'm already seeing right now too. I feel you guys are this person is really into nature and hiking, and they're quite athletic, but they like to be outside skiing, all of that. So if you guys are into those just really beautiful outdoor sports, just being in nature, I see big, forests and pine and hiking and mountains and nature walks and all of that. And I feel you guys taking trips together, seeing really different types of destinations, blue water, green grass, big forest, all of that, really gratifying trips. Again, this person, I feel already because of this and their studies and everywhere, are well traveled. They probably speak a few languages. They have a very kind of they're going to awaken the god or goddess within you through all kinds of dance, self-care, appreciating your divinity. They're really going to show you all this beautiful mood enhancing things in your life. They govern their life on the simple principle, that we're here to love and enjoy life, be kind to one another. I just feel like they're very simplistic and childlike, kind of like the Fool card in their approach to life. Therefore, everything is a gift. Everything is enjoyable, and everybody is to be cherished. You know, kind of like that childlike wonder. Like, they're excited to meet people. They don't have skepticism. They're not critical. They're not like petulant, flippant. They're not afraid of things. You know, they're not derisive or contrite about things. It's none of those tight things. It's all just really lovely and open, and that beautiful, excitable energy, learning new things, new people, new places, because they have a restful energy, and they're very grounded, and they're very spiritual, and they're very loving. And because of that, they have compassion, they have kindness, they have, you know, a deep, this is an old soul kind of energy too, where they probably do have past life recall. And because of that and those experiences, they understand a huge spectrum of moods and emotions and challenges, and they know how to face it maturely and even tempered, which is really, really good. Yeah, just a whirlwind of beauty and loving energy too. And I feel like, you know, you're gonna just feel better and better. You're gonna have more peace and serenity as the days go in. Like, beautiful, reflective things about self-identity. You're gonna have a lot of self-love and acceptance, because you realize, you know, it all begins with us, right? You're gonna have a lot of creativity, and you're not, you know, you're gonna feel not inhibited anymore. You know, you're really just ready to tap into all this divine energy, and you feel that you're divinely protected. So you're moving in a way that you feel like it's a rebirth, and you're regenerated, and you constantly feel good, and you're ready for things. That's it, prepared. You feel really, really prepared. And that's kind of how the divine system works, where, you know, first you feel the gratitude, then you feel the love, and then you feel prepared, and then everything just sort of arrives in this gorgeously structured flow, and you're not second guessing, and you're not worried, and you're not fearful, and you don't feel deprived. You feel the opposite of all of that, just beautiful, lovely energy that's around you that feels warm and it feels easy. So I'm loving that for you, group 3. Beautiful energy. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to press like and subscribe, and all my links are down below. If you need a private read or any information, come see me on Instagram as well. I post daily, and I answer, you know, everybody who DMs me, I always answer them. A lot of people have crystal, jewelry questions, all kinds of stuff like that. I love to connect with you guys and get to know you that way. Thank you for your gorgeous comments and all your support. You guys are getting very close to 40,000, and it's pretty awesome. And you guys are wonderful, and I'm so glad that you have rich, beautiful things to look forward to. You're seeing life like that now, as opposed to heavy energy. You're just lifting that, because you realize our thoughts create our lives, right? Our thoughts create our moods. That's when our focus goes on. So if it's always focused on good things, positivity, love, transformation, some really miraculous stuff takes place, and all these big wins, and then you feel good, and you feel the love of the universe and other people around you. So love and light.